Gaming headsets have never really felt worth it to me. It always made more sense to just buy a good pair of headphones and use an external mic. But now that a reputable headphone company is partnering with ASUS to make this, well, maybe it's time to give gaming headsets another chance. Let's find out if this one's any good. This is the ROG Kithara. Or is it Kithara? I'm not really positive. Not that that really matters. Well, we have ample documentation in the box, and look at that, they're actually showing the individual unit's frequency response measurements. That's kind of cool. It looks like we have a number of different connectors on here, and I saw this on the outside of the box. You can actually swap what connector you're using on the cable. So we've got 3.5 millimeter. This is what you're gonna use for like 99% of stuff. 4.4, which is a balanced connector for the nerds like myself, and 6.3 millimeter if you were using this with, say, an audio interface. Then we have our sacred dongle that lets us connect to USB-C for the microphone and audio out. Oh, and there's the headphones. We got a couple of cables in here. Wow, if you're familiar with HIFIMAN, normally people talk a lot of crap about their cables, but these feel decently nice. It doesn't feel anything like a cheap vacuum cord, which is a pretty good sign, I'd say, right off the bat. This is about 1 me across, so this is 1.8 meters of cable. And here is that connector we can use to swap the ends. They also come with a second cable that has a MEMS microphone on it, a mute switch, and a volume rocker. This is the one you're gonna be using if you're using it as a gaming headset. Ooh! Oh, they left a snack in here. These are my favorite. Don't eat these are mine. We've got some more stuff down in here. User documentation, because I don't know how to use a pair of headphones, but you never know, this actually might come in handy. There is a lot of accessories with these. Oh, there you go. There's where it comes in handy. It shows you how to swap the pads. And then we have the headphones. But there's more in here, so I'm setting these aside for a second. Look at that. Secret box. In these we have some extra pads, and these ones are velour. These do make it sound a little bit different, and they do affect the comfort. We'll talk about that in just a moment when we go over sound quality. And you might be asking, Mr. Audio Nerd, DMS, how did you know there was another box down here? It's because I've actually been using these for a few weeks. I know, it's not a surprise. But what that does mean is I know exactly how they sound. But before I tell you about that, let's talk about the build. These feel really good. Out of all the headphones that HIFIMAN makes, this is actually one of the best feeling headphones I've ever seen with their branding on it. Well, I guess it technically has the ROG branding on it, but it has HIFIMAN written on the box. We see the whole backside open behind this metal grille. That's where our giant planar magnetic driver lives. We have some subtle mesh all the way around the outside, a pretty gracious amount of movement in the yokes. They tilt, they swivel, and we can, of course, move our suspension strap up and down. That suspension strap has a decent amount of breathability in the bottom, which is nice and not super common. So that's a bit of detail I'm quite fond of. And the stock pads on here are a sort of hybrid leatherette synthetic material. Not as breathable as these velours. I find the velours a little bit more comfortable, but the synthetic pads are not particularly bad. They are spacious at a pretty significant 84 millimeters tall. You gotta have a big ear to reach the top and bottom of that. The pads come off with a series of clips, and you can see just barely the magnets of the planar array in here. That is a pretty thin headphone overall, isn't it? Now, putting the pads back on is a bit of a challenge. You have to sort of work your way around and go one clip at a time, because if you don't get them all clipped in, your bass response is gonna be really wonky and different from ear to ear. I believe I got that on there pretty good. In fact, my only real complaint about comfort on these is that they weigh 420 grams. Now, that's not a ton for a planar headphone, but it is a lot for a headphone in general. That said, it does make them feel kind of premium. Now comes the fun part where I get to tell you about how these sound with science, but not before we tell you about our sponsor.
Sihoo. Working from home or supporting your duo, you've always had everyone else's back. So let the Sihoo Doro C300 Pro V2 have your back this time. It's a mesh body office chair with lumbar support that doesn't just stay put, but continues to hold you as you move and slide in the seat. The armrest adjusts at multiple angles, keeping your wrists and forearms in comfortable positions, whether you're typing at work or playing Steam Deck on your lunch break. Follow the link in the description and get 10% off your Sihoo Doro C300 Pro V2 today.
Now's where the science happens. We measure our headphones on this rig, and a microphone inside my real human ear. We crunch all that data together to build a map of how these headphones will vary from person to person and ear to ear. We can then show you that on here, in this gray area that goes all the way across, is the range the average person will find preferable. It's a pretty big range. Now this area down here, this is our bass and sub-bass, the thump, the deepest parts, the rumbles. This is our mid-range. This is where most of your music actually lives, and it's pretty important the mid-range is linear. You can tell that the average listener preference bounds are a lot tighter through this area. And then everything up here, the higher you go, the more you're getting into treble, the sizzles and the pops. This is the top end, and all the way up here, this is like the highest point that most people can hear. In fact, a lot of you watching this, your hearing probably cuts off more in this sort of range. And what you'll notice here is that these, while pretty linear on the bass, are a little bit less bass than the average person is going to want. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people really don't notice when bass is missing all the way down here. They tend to notice it a bit more right here, and right in this range, it's still close to the average listener preference. I wouldn't worry too much about that. The mid-range going above that right here is pretty linear. This looks really, really good. And then around 1.5 kilohertz, we start to dip in. Now, this is a pretty common feature on HIFIMAN headphones. They tend to be a bit recessed around 2 kilohertz. This is kind of the middle of the vocal range and close to, but not quite at, the most sensitive part of our hearing, which is right here around 3 kilohertz. Now, what this means is that this is going to make things sound a little bit more hollow, but sometimes also a little bit more spacious, a little bit more immersive. This is more than I would want in a headphone though. I would probably want this to be maybe just on the bottom end of the average listener preference bounds rather than dipping underneath it, because that's going to be a bit more apparent to the average listener. Coupling with that, right after this dip, we do have a bit of elevation throughout the treble. These sound a bit brighter. This whole range up top is pretty sharp. Now there are some areas where it dips down, and you're not going to hear those nearly as much as you're going to hear these big peaks. This makes the headphones sound sibilant. That's how we describe sound when the S's are a bit too sharp, a bit too piercing. In some cases, this can make a headphone sound more detailed, a bit more engaging and more exciting. And some people do like this, but you can see we're starting to creep just above the average listener preference bounds in a couple spots, and in the upper treble, way up here, it really starts to elevate. But we're high enough in the range that this is probably on the edge, the top end of what a lot of people can hear. I don't think people are going to notice this big spike nearly as much as they're going to notice the elevation here and here. And that's not particularly bad, but in contrast to this dip here, well, it can be a little bit much. I personally find these headphones to sound pretty spacious, pretty deep in terms of their soundstage, but also way too sharp up top. That said, I also think they sound better than pretty much any gaming headset that I've heard on the market, except for the PC38X, which was an old Drop Collab headset. I don't even know if they make it anymore. Now, that was on the synthetic pads. This is on the Velour Pads I talked about earlier. We tested both pairs. You can see the bass and mid-range is pretty similar, but you'll notice that the bass right here, the area where you're feeling a bit more punch, this is more full on the Velour Pads than it was on the synthetic pads, despite there being a bit more roll-off in the deeper sub-bass. The mid-range is pretty excellent, and that 2K region is a lot better than it was on the synthetic pads. But what you'll also notice is that these bumps right here in the treble are just a little bit higher. So while this mid-range is a bit more full, and while this bass feels just a bit warmer and a bit more punchy, we are starting to suffer just a little bit in this upper treble, and as a result, these sound even sharper. Between the two, it's kind of tough deciding which one I would personally use. But given that these are also a little bit more breathable than the synthetic pads, I'd say that would probably tip it over, and these are the ones I would end up using most of the time. Now, before we finish talking about sound quality on these, we did do a test of the MEMS microphone using good old Linus's voice, and this is what it sounds like.
This is the LTT Labs reference microphone test. Every sound matters, and you should be able to clearly tell my words apart, even when I whisper.
So where does this thing sit at the end of the day? At $299 US. It's not cheap, but also a lot of gaming headsets aren't cheap either, and this is better than basically all of them. If you're enough of an audio nerd to know who HIFIMAN is as a brand, you're probably also enough of an audio nerd to use a little bit of EQ, and if you do that, this can be a pretty fantastic headset. You just pull down a little bit in the treble and you're good to go, honestly. Would I personally buy it? Well, I would probably still just get like a $99 pair of headphones, like a K361 from AKG, and use an external microphone. But what this does tell me is that gaming headsets are worth considering again. And despite its flaws, it is actually one of the best headphones that I've seen from the HIFIMAN brand. If you were interested in this headset, you should also check out our video on the Odyssey Maxwell. That's another compelling gaming headset. The link to that is down below. And now remember, kids, price does not correlate with sound quality, and up, up, down, down, left, right, BA.